A lot of reaction to what you wrote about this situation. What is your message to those of the conservative wing of the party who, when this first happened, said, why does it have to be called a hate crime? Why do you have to make everything about race? If it was a hate crime at all, it's against Christians. And why do you have to go after this flag now? It's about heritage. It's not about hate. What is your message to these people?
Well, you know, it's obvious that we still have some problems as a society, and we need to start thinking about what we can do about it. You know, when we moved into our home in Maryland, which is in a rural area, one of the neighbors put up a big Confederate flag on the barn, I guess as a message to us. And one of our friends who's a general, black general, was coming over, and he came through the drive and he saw that, and he turned around and he said, I'm in the wrong place. But the interesting thing is all the other neighbors immediately put up American flags and shamed this individual, and they took it down. And really, that's what we need to be thinking about. You know, how we are social beings as human beings. Let's send the right messages to each other, and I think that will take care of a lot of our problems. Let's not just turn a blind eye to things.
And what do you see in that blindness? Why do you think that there is this motivation to blame the media or the left or whomever about calling things hate crimes and making things about race? What do you see as motivating that?
Well, you know, I'm very concerned about the divisiveness that's going on in our society. You know, we have a war on women, we have race wars, income wars, age wars, religious wars, you name it. People are, you know, stoking the flames of controversy and division, and it's almost making us look like we have a dysfunctional society. And we're better than that. And we, the American people, have to recognize that just because we might have a disagreement about something, it doesn't make us mortal enemies. It doesn't make us people who should be wanting to destroy the reputation or the business of our fellow Americans. We already have people outside, like radical jihadists, who want to destroy us. Why should we engage in destroying ourselves?
And do you see it as instructive that while you came out right away, and yes, you're the only African-American running for president right now, but you came out right away and called this for what it is and saw the flag for what it is and what should be done with removing that symbol. But a lot of your competitors did not. They brushed it off as strictly states' rights. Governor Huckabee said this is a distraction. This is a gotcha question. This has nothing to do with being president. How do you understand those types of responses?
Well, I mean, I think everybody responds in a way that they feel is the most acceptable. And I never try to predict or analyze what other people are thinking. It's probably better just to ask them. But you know, I think what we as Americans, once again, have to keep in mind is that this is a pluralistic society, and we have to live together. And that means we have to identify things that are wrong. We have to call them what they are, because you'll never be able to deal with them if you're not willing to call them what they are. Recognize that we do have a problem, and let's work on solving it.
But doesn't that also go by extension of analogy to the people who are fighting these ideas, and isn't a part of leadership saying to people who don't want to call what happened in this Charleston church a hate crime, calling them out on that and showing them that that is not a time to play politics and say that race colors too much of the public discussion?
Well, obviously, I want to make sure that people understand that I do recognize that
you certainly do from what you've written and what you've said, sir.
And I think hopefully others will come to that understanding. And let's talk about it, because it is going to be our civil discussions that help us through all of these various issues of division in our country. And if we don't address them, we wind up with more people like Dylan Roof.
And let me hold you to your own test here on a different level. Many people are equating what the Confederate flag stands for with the gay pride flag and saying, hey, that flag should be taken down too, because all it represents is hatred toward Christians and people who don't favor gay rights. Do you see an equation between those two symbols?
Well, you know, I decided that I really wanted to talk about the Confederate flag during this time.
But you just said, Doctor, that you cannot avoid these difficult situations because that's how they fester. You must deal with what is difficult to deal with. That's part of leadership. You just said that about the other issue.
Like I said, if you want to talk about that, let's do that on a different segment.
So the discomfort of that conversation you feel distracts from the Confederate flag, or it's just not something you want to handle?
Let's do it at another time and specifically address that issue.
All right. So we'll leave that for another time. Let me ask you something. You may find yourself on a stage with Donald Trump. One, are you afraid that you may pass out from lack of oxygen because he's on the stage with you? And two, what do you think that he offers to this debate? Do you think you need Donald Trump in your number?
I welcome Donald Trump. He's obviously a man of significant accomplishment. And, you know, we have a process whereby a lot of different individuals will have an opportunity to place forth their vision of what America should be. And we can analyze that vision with respect to what they have done in their lives and make a decision. That's the beauty of the American political system.
You surprised that the Donald is in second place? He is. He can't believe he's not in first. He can't believe Jeb Bush is in first place. Are you surprised he's in second? And what message does that send to you and the other candidates?
That the numbers are going to jump around, and you know, I'm happy for him. It's good. It's a good, healthy process, and I'm glad we're going to be able to hear lots of different